The following is a paid program sponsored by TriVita.
TriVita Wellness presents Wonderful You. You were created in God's image to be His temple. Your unique genetic blueprint is a miracle capable of adapting to the many challenges that you will face. He designed your body with over 75 trillion cells and essential body systems to heal, renew, and restore, so you can not just survive, but thrive. You were born with purpose and God's purpose for your life. Welcome to Wonderful You.
Welcome to Wonderful You, where your wellness is our purpose and God's purpose for your life. I'm Bronwyn Eisen, and joining me is the founder of TriVita Wellness, Michael Ellison, and Dr. Paul Burnett, Director of Wellness Services for TriVita. Such a pleasure to have both of you here today.
Thank you, Bronwyn. Looking forward to this program, as always.
Yes, as always.
I'm so glad to be with both of you here today.
Thank you, Paul. Do you feel aches, pain, stiffness, or soreness in your bones, joints, and muscles? Chances are you know exactly what I mean, and this is why you don't want to miss today's program. You may have heard of chronic inflammation, and if not, today you have an opportunity to learn more about this insidious, silent killer that may be affecting your life. Stress, lack of movement, interrupted sleep, poor diet choices, and past injuries could be wreaking havoc on your body and compromising your muscle-skeletal system. I'd imagine you want to be healthy, you want to be active doing the things you love, and you want to feel good. Today, we are going to share with you a dietary supplement that has helped thousands of people with chronic inflammation, plus important steps on how you can have a thriving musculoskeletal system, as well as learning about numbers that matter as it relates to your health and how exercise and movement can help you live the abundant life God desires for you. We always like to start each of our programs with what God has to say about you. Michael, will you share a scripture with us today?
I will, and what He desires for you. So that's an important emphasis of our program today, because we hear so much misinformation in our world today. You've heard of the dark ages, the information dark ages, the digital dark ages. It almost seems like today it's the dark age of truth. We have the age of misinformation. There's information coming at us from everywhere. Well, the good news, this has stood the test of time, thousands of years, and it is the way, the truth, the life is in the Scriptures. And it's what God says about you that you can take each day and know how special you are. Yes, wonderful you. Here's what we're reading today, 2 Corinthians 6, and we're going to start with verse 16. He says, "For you are the temple of the living God, as God has said, I will dwell in them and walk among them. I will be their God, and they shall be my people." You are special. And he says, "I will be a father to you, and you shall be my sons and daughters, thus saith the Lord." So no matter what you may hear, what someone may say about you, what is in the media, you can go here and know that you have a special relationship. And yes, you are of His family. And when we're of His family, what you said, Brahman, His desires for you, it is about wellness. So today, it's going to be a good day.
It is going to be a very good day. Thank you for sharing, Michael. Knowing where to start can be challenging. Today, we're going to keep it simple for you. Paul, how are chronic inflammation, the aches, the pains that people feel, what's going on there, and how is that connected to our muscles and the chronic inflammation that people may be feeling?
So let's start with what healthy inflammation is. Okay. You talk about information that's out there, right? And sometimes people hear inflammation, they think, oh no, because so much information is coming to the forefront. But healthy inflammation is very good for us, and that will help take care of our bones, help take care of our joints, help take care of this muscle-skeletal system. So, the root word for inflammation is inflammare, right? Which means to set a fire, hot, heat. And so what we're really talking about, when you start feeling those aches and pains, you're really starting to get into chronic inflammation. A lot of people would say, well, I've had this pain for a long time. Well, that's gone unresolved for a long time, and it could be triggering other things under the surface. So, there's a difference between acute inflammation. I know I like to lift weights, and so I'm going to tear my muscle just a little bit, right? And to strengthen that muscle. And inflammation can come there, and I can build new muscle, and I can become stronger for it. But when that becomes an injury and goes unresolved for a long time, that really gets dangerous, not only to our muscle-skeletal system, but to all the tissues of our bodies, particularly as it goes on and on and on. So one of the things that's out there is called a CRP test, or a C-reactive protein test. What I want all the viewers to know is that this is a test you can talk to your doctor about getting, and you can really discover, what is the chronic inflammatory response of my body. How is it working right now? Less than 1, we're doing good. Yes. You get to 2, you're kind of in that moderate middle stage where it can start to become inflammatory to other tissues of your body. And then 3 or greater, this is the danger place. And I've never woken up any day and thought, well, my C-reactive protein's less than a 3, or it's greater than a 3. You're not going to feel that necessarily. So not only should we use the aches and pains to start making some of those awareness decisions that, I should really look deeper into this, but also for things that we can't feel, like the level of C-reactive protein in our blood. Let's talk a little bit about the muscle-skeletal system, right? So we have about 270 bones in our bodies when we're born, and then those fuse together to 206, right? So you can imagine we're coming through a tight little area, and so we're going to need a lot more flexibility with those bones when that occurs, but then over time those bones fuse together, so we end up with about 206 bones. Half of all bones are in our hands, in our wrists, our feet, and our ankles. And chronic inflammation actually has been shown to lower bone density. So it really starts to play a huge opportunity for us to become aware of chronic inflammation and what we can do about it.
Yeah, Paul, you mentioned, about the silent part of it. Well, pain is not silent.
Right.
Right? Pain is, and if you go to any, physician, they will ask you 1 to 10. What is your pain? There's no clinical evidence of pain, but it's God's way of saying there's an inflamed situation that's occurring, right, and you can do something about it. Well, we have a tendency to just simply address chronic inflammation when it comes to pain by pain medication. We want to silence pain when it really is, our best friend.
Right.
Because it says something is going on and you can do something about it.
In addition to our bones and our joints, we also have muscles. And we have 3 different kinds of muscles. And so number 1, myofascial, you've heard of that before, that's your muscle, right? So you've got that thin layer over the top of the muscle, and then you have the muscle itself. So there are the 3 types. One is skeletal muscle. I think we're all aware of those. Those are the ones that we can feel and we work on to strengthen us. But myofascial pain syndrome itself is common for those with muscle-skeletal pain. So, really starting to understand those signs and symptoms, because that's really where they start. And awareness is really the key to change. If I don't know that something's wrong, why would I make a change? So when you feel those changes in your muscles, then it's important to get those things addressed as well. So there's also smooth muscle, being your stomach, uterus, the GI tract, places like that. Prolonged inflammation there has been shown to actually damage the GI tract. And so you want to talk about an immune response, which is healthy inflammation. You got 80% of your immune system in your gut. You want to make sure that that smooth muscle is well cared for as well. But there's another muscle as well, and this is why chronic inflammation can really become dangerous. But there's cardiac muscle that's found in your heart, which is a very different muscle. But Harvard experts discovered that a C-reactive protein level of 2 or greater increased your risk of a heart attack by 3 times and 2 times greater risk of a stroke. So these are things that we need to understand, that when chronic inflammation has the opportunity to continue to persist, that there are other serious chronic illnesses that can result as it relates to that.
Yeah, Dr. Paul, let me just add a comment here for our viewers. We are not saying that chronic inflammation is a disease.
At all.
Right?
No.
And if we go into any medical or any of the science, it will also note that it is not. It's an immune function.
Right.
Well, it's important for our viewers to know that we are not diagnosing, treating disease. These are not claims that we are making or even Dr. Paul is making. These are medical facts that are out there that when chronic inflammation over time, it begins to weaken the cells, weaken the organs, weaken the systems. When that happens, then you set up for the lifestyle-related diseases that come out of that. So I just think it's important for our viewers to know that we're not saying if you have chronic inflammation, you have these diseases.
Right.
Please don't hear that.
No.
What we are saying is be concerned. I am concerned, right? And take it seriously.
We're just here to help people better understand their body system, how it works, what the difference between healthy inflammation is and chronic inflammation. And the more you can understand about that, the more you can employ self-care, simple things throughout your day to improve the quality of your life.
Well, and I think too, what's important is that it can be managed or even reversed. And you were able to come upon something very, very special that has led thousands of people to help manage.
Yeah, Bronwyn, it was special, and one of the reasons why it was special, I'll never forget this. You know, I mentioned in last week's show about my wife being diagnosed with breast cancer. Well, that was, that one of the horrific calls, from the physician to say that you have that. And I remember it was probably a year after her treatment and coming through that she was on crutches, and we were up in Telluride, beautiful Colorado in the fall, and there was a little bit of snow on the mountains and the nice golden leaves. And she said to me, sitting in the hotel room as we were looking out over the beauty, she says, "How are you going to feel about me now knowing that I may be on a cane or crutches for the rest of my life and we have a wellness company?" Oh, wow. Did we know the pain of inflammation? Well, it was on that trip in Mexico, right, of listening to the Seri people, they're the indigenous people, about how strong their warriors were, from the ancient warriors, and how the plants in the desert was what they ate. They didn't go to fast food lines. They ate that. Well, one of the things that we learned, studying with University of Arizona and also ASU, we learned what the people did, the indigenous people did, what they ate. Well, the nopal cactus was one that came forward as being something that addressed inflammation, chronic inflammation. And as we studied it, we also wanted to know, is it prolific? Does it grow in a way that we could harvest? And we found out that it does, and we were able to go into manufacturing, for Nopalea. And I watched my wife, literally, we're talking about can you do things, right? I watched her take that product, now obviously eating also a anti-inflammatory diet. I watched the redness go out of her feet. I watched her feet become normal, and for her to be back on the treadmill, and I'm saying this for a reason. We know the pain of chronic inflammation. We know the dangers of it, but we also know how God designed us, and when we support it, what amazing things can happen. So, yeah, Nopalea from the nopal cactus, it's an amazing product.
Thank you for sharing. And it's also to keep, track of when we go into numbers that matter, right? So you're saying, there's a way that we can manage and even prevent, but, numbers that matter do matter.
Absolutely. And, this can really become a catalyst for change in every person's life, knowing where we are. I know how much money's in my bank account. I know when it's there and when it's not. If I know those numbers that matter, I can live a prosperous life. But if I just let that thing go, how would I ever know where I was at? Eventually, someone's going to call me and say, "Where's my money?" I said, "Well, it should have been there." But I didn't take care of the numbers that matter. We can do this with our own bodies as well. And so we've already talked about C-reactive protein. You know, really the goal is less than 1. I mean, that's where we really want to be, but less than 3 kind of triggers to say, you know what, you got to really get serious about this and start making some changes where you can. SAD rate, men less than 22, women less than 29, A1C less than 5, HDL cholesterol greater than 50, LDL cholesterol less than 100, triglycerides less than 150, waist circumference, men, come on, let's go. Let's get below 35 and a half inches. Let's not move our belt down so we can say we're there, okay? Women as well.
Doesn't look good either.
Right. And nobody wants to be overweight, but women themselves as well should be, less than 31 and a half inches as well. So getting these numbers under control, knowing where they're at and what you can do to be empowered to change those numbers for the better is going to really reduce the chronic inflammation in your body. Regular physical exercise, a whole bunch of other things are going to contribute to that. But yeah, these are really important numbers to know.
Yeah, that's right. And once we know our numbers and we are supplementing for added support, we have to keep in mind that lifestyle choices will also make and contribute to greater health. For those of you who may not have access to a gym and think you need weights to maintain or gain muscle, the good news is your body can act as your own gym. Movement is for everyone, and it can be done at your own fitness level and requires a minimal amount of your time. Here's how you can get started.
Here is a balancing movement that you can do from the comfort of your own home or even at the office. All you need is a single chair. So I'm going to place my hand onto the chair. First of all, you want to have a stable foundation. So what I like to do is rock back and forth onto the tops of my feet and into my heels. You'll notice once you started to rock back and forth that you needed to use your abdominal strength. Once you feel like you're settling in, go ahead and stand up nice and tall, have the shoulders right over those hips and the hips directly over the ankles. So we're gonna do a nice leg raise. I'm gonna give you 3 options for height. You wanna use the outside leg that is away from the chair. Place that hand onto your hip and firm down through the standing leg. We're gonna take a nice inhale, and the first point will be that you just tap your toes, and that might just be enough for you. Second option is halfway, lift that leg up and you're going to notice how you need to balance. Settle that foot down. Third level, go ahead and lift it up just a little bit higher. Pointing or flexing the foot is optional. So let's go ahead and get started. You'll inhale on the way up, exhale on the way down. So you choose your level. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale down. One thing you want to keep in mind, no matter what level you're at, 1, 2, or 3, once you are lifting that leg, be mindful that you're not tilting back. So you want to make sure that when you bring that leg up, you're not tilting back. So what that would look like is this. You're going to lose your balance if you do that. So nice and vertical. And then go ahead and lift up and lower down. It also helps to have a focal point. So put those eyes on one target place and focus on that. You'll want to do at least 3 sets of, say, 15 on each leg. Here's to your balancing, and good luck.
Well, as we know, movement is really important. I mean, I've had a life of movement. I love to exercise.
Well, I know what it's like not to move. When I had my serious health crash, I love to move, as you can tell on our show. Moving is really important. But also from Harvard, and I go there because, again, Bible-based, right, science-supported, they have this booklet on walking for health. It's 52 pages on walking for health.
That's pretty important.
So I would say movement is really important. But here's the interesting part. It's called sitting disease, and why walking is the cure. Sitting disease is not a medical term yet, but now the science has proven that even sitting in prolonged time periods is more serious than smoking cigarettes and cigars. It's the new, real health serious problem. And when you sit hour after hour, without moving, you are doing serious, damage to your health. In fact, in this article, it says that 34 chronic diseases or conditions come from sitting. 34. This is Harvard. This is not our claims. This is what Harvard Medical School experts are saying, and why it's so important for us to know that moving. I mean, even you may be in a desk job, or you may just be at home and you enjoy sitting. Up and move as frequently as you can is really important. In a 2018 study, they also found it bad for your brain. When UCLA researchers did brain scans of 35 people ages 45 to 75, they found that those who sat the most had more thinning in the area of the brain involved with memory, a change that may be linked to cognitive decline and dementia. Okay, well, that's what science says. This is what I do know. You are wonderfully created, and God designed you to move. And even if you do experience stiffness, soreness, pain, it's still better to move and to allow your systems to function the way God created you. So yes, Bronwyn, moving is really important.
Absolutely. I mean, movement is powerful, having a healthy diet, getting enough sleep, supplementing, say with Nopalea. So can you take us through Nopalea a little bit more, Paul?
Right, and so there was a double-blind placebo-based study that TriVita put together, and it actually showed the reduction of C-reactive protein in the blood. That's the marker I talked about earlier. Really that marker that's saying, am I inflamed, chronically inflamed? It also improves joint mobility, range of motion, flexibility of the neck, the back, and the joints. It also improves quality of life as well. So, my favorite part of the study, though, less reliance on pain medication. So, I would rather put something into my body that's not toxic, doesn't have side effects, like Nopalea.
Well, when chronic inflammation becomes to be lowered, you will experience less pain.
Absolutely.
And because pain is a messenger to let us know that something is not right. One of the things I would like, and I asked our producers to put this here, and that is for us to just look at the beauty of this. And it comes from a fabulous fruit, from the nopal cactus. And I just want to pour to show how great it is, and not only how beautiful it is, how wonderful it tastes. I've been taking this now for, since 2009. Every single day as a part of my anti-inflammatory diet. It's one of the things that I do. And I encourage you, to take chronic inflammation seriously, and also of what you can do, and I say cheers to you.
That's right. Well, you are probably wondering how you can get your own Nopalea, so now you have the opportunity to order. Here's how.
According to the World Health Organization, inflammatory-related disease is the greatest health threat to humanity. Infections, injuries, toxins, poor diet, and chronic stress can attack your immune system and lead to chronic inflammation. But now there's a solution you can fight this dangerous silent killer with. Nopalea, a daily dietary supplement made from the superfruit of the Nopal cactus, containing a unique group of bioflavonoids clinically shown to reduce chronic inflammation. In fact, double-blind clinical study results showed a reduction of elevated at-risk C-reactive protein levels, improvement in range of motion in the back, neck, and joints, and an overall improvement in quality of life.
It's so good for you, it tastes fantastic, it's got everything right. It's fun to be on the golf course again. I'm able to swing the club freely. Hopefully I'm hitting better golf shots. Nopalea has allowed me to get back on the golf course, enjoy the game that I love, and maybe even give me that little edge to beat my friends at the game.
After about the third or fourth bottle, I realized that I could take the long car rides. I could do the simple things in life that used to really bother me.
Inflammation in the body is a healthy, necessary function when you need it. But runaway and unchecked chronic inflammation is a silent killer that can wreak havoc on your body. With Nopalea, now there's a natural way to help bring inflammation levels back into balance. With only 15 calories per serving, Nopalea is a ready-to-drink liquid concentrate combined with a proprietary blend of powerful antioxidants to support your body's cellular health. And because it's bottled in a state-of-the-art, FDA-certified facility, you can be certain that it contains no harmful contaminants, artificial colors, or flavors. Call now and receive a free bottle of Nopalea with your order. We'll also send you Harvard Medical School's Guide on Understanding Inflammation. This guide retails for $18, but it's yours free today with your order. You'll also receive this free anti-inflammatory lifestyle guide to help you make informed decisions on foods to avoid and anti-inflammatory foods you should eat. This new customer special offer has a free value of over $58, and you won't even need to pay for shipping and processing.
I started seeing results within 4 months, and so I haven't looked back. I'm able to get out and do things. My movement, the range of movement that I have, I'm able to do fly fishing now.
I feel like Nopalea just took the edge off, and then it's continued to keep me from getting sore and painful like I have in the past. It's been a huge blessing.
With over 10 million bottles sold, Nopalea has helped thousands of people take back control of their health by lowering levels of chronic inflammation. Start living your best life now by calling to take advantage of this risk-free special offer and receive a free bottle of Nopalea with your order, along with Harvard Medical School's Guide to Understanding Inflammation and the Anti-Inflammatory Lifestyle Guide. Nopalea, a clinically validated and natural solution to help bring unhealthy inflammation levels back into balance so you can have a better quality of life. Go online or call now.
Living with aches and pains can really diminish one's quality of life. It's important to pay attention to the numbers that matter most as it relates to your muscle-skeletal system. A healthy diet, exercise, less stress, and proper sleep may help to decrease your chronic inflammation. We are God's temple, and He desires for us to live long and prosperous lives. And Michael, you always close us in prayer, and so do you mind closing us in prayer today?
My pleasure and privilege to pray with our viewers. Yes, you are empowered to make those choices, and God desires for you to live with wellness. So God, we thank you for each viewer who've joined with us today, that they are your sons and your daughters, that you dwell with them, you walk with them, they are empowered to make good choices. And so I pray for health and healing for each one in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Dr. Paul. And thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you on our next Wonderful You show. If you'd like to see more episodes of Wonderful You, you can see them on demand on our YouTube channel. Feel free to share with your friends and family. Thank you again for joining us, and God bless.
The preceding was a paid program sponsored by TriVita.